righteousness as a mighty stream. Justice for one and justice for all. Too much division, too much of class.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, today the time is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's now 7:45. We're gonna hand it over to Live Compton with his commentary this morning. Good morning to you, Live.
Morning, MAKA. Good morning, Roleza. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning to listeners.
Good morning.
Good morning, Live.
How was everyone this morning?
We're okay. Let me just say good morning to Mr. Ledger, who I met on Friday, and another person who said that they enjoyed this segment in particular. So yeah. All right. So
Great. Well, I guess we all know what is trending over the weekend.
yeah, we left the segment for you.
Yeah. Well, you see, to be honest, right, I was saying, man, that's getting a lot of discussions, a lot of feedback, a lot of opinions, a lot of facts or whatever. So I didn't even really want to touch it because in my mind, it don't even mean anything to me, to be honest. Because when I say don't mean anything to me, this is the first time somebody maliciously leaked that document to gain the kind of attention that well, when I say maliciously leaked, it's a public document basically though, but I have never seen this done before. In the former administration, it wasn't any different than what you're seeing now, basically. But we never saw a list being leaked like this before. I'm not saying people have the right to be concerned. People have the right to voice their opinion. People have right to put a public document on social media for whatever reason. People have the right. What I'm saying is that this is a big outcry because what we are seeing is not really the Unity Labour Party supporters arguing and cursing about it. What we are seeing are some very, very strong supporters of the New Democratic Party who think that because of their ignorant behavior, for want of another word, on social media, and who think because of some of the violent, nasty things they said during the election campaign and during the years that they helped the party to win. That is what you're seeing. These people are now coming out and arguing with one another, chastising the party that they supported for the last how many years. Some of them could be close to 30 years, 40 years. And they think that because of some of the things that they were doing on social media, they helped the party to form government. So they feel entitled now to be able to criticize in the worst way some of the things that are happening. But I'm sure if there was a document leaked, well, not leaked, if there was a document with the former list, if the former administration placed on social media, we see some of the same things. And it just shows that governments will do blatant things and expect people not to say anything. Now, the personal problem I have with the list is a personal problem because on that list, there are 4 people, 3 I think with pending criminal charges and 1 convicted of criminal charge or charges quite a few years ago, right? So that's my only problem. Maybe they could have waited till the outcome of these cases were finished or whatever and deal with it that way. But that is what you're seeing. So it's kind of that's a kind of sticky one for me, right? Because I do believe in rewarding bad behavior. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's what happens. Where bad behavior is ignored or given a thumbs up in certain circumstances when people think that, or whatever happened, it may have benefited them, right? So that's my only problem with the with the list. Some of the people that are placed in positions are worthy to be placed in those positions. And I think that they would bring, a sort of professionalism and away, not, I want to say away forward, because some of these organizations are already strong, but I think that they would help the expertise and the training in whatever field would help to, upgrade the organizations, how we look at it. But yeah, people are upset about it. People, they mention things like the wives, girlfriends, husbands. They mention a student. They mention people being placed on multiple boards, which is something that we saw a lot of people disagreeing when the farm administration did it, like people on multiple boards. And some of the placements are questionable, because basically a board is a decision-making group, and you're wondering what some of these people have to help make decisions on these boards. I saw one where a Calypsonian is a member, a very politically motivated, oriented Calypsonian is on the CDC board. So I was wondering if he's going to stop performing, because he always very controversial and threatened to sue two separate times. People threatened to sue him 2 separate times or whatever. So I wondering if he's going to stop performing. So some of these are some of the legitimate complaints that people have. As I said, it's neither here nor there with me. I don't think it's gonna affect the lives of Vincent Shed in any critical way. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's social media and people entitled to their opinions, right? It's not for me to go and drag down somebody or pull down somebody because they were lucky enough or smart enough to be placed in a position where they can use whatever skill they have to push something forward. But yeah, that's just how it is. That's how it is. I think the list is under enough fire from the NDP's own supporters. I'm not really seeing diehard supporters of the ULA Labour Party going as hard against the list as NDP supporters are going hard against the list. There are a few comments on social media from ULP supporters where they are making like little jokes or little jabs or whatever, but nothing too serious, right? The NDP supporters are the ones that go extremely hard against the list. I don't know if some of them expected to be on some of the boards. I don't know if some of them are jealous. I don't know what it is, but they are the ones that go extremely hard against the list. The ULP supporters are making little jabs or whatever, little jokes or whatever, but nothing too serious or nothing too violent or whatever, however you want to describe it, right? So yeah, just the political atmosphere in civics continues to be very toxic, and it's going hard as usual. I think civics is one of the only countries, we might say apart from the United States since Trump, that is always stuck in election mode.
Yes.
Civics has been stuck in election mode for probably the last 15 or so years. Every day, in and out, no breaks. They don't even take break on a Sunday. They don't even take breaks on Sundays.
All right. I see we have a caller, but I just wanted to voice a couple of things in relation to what you said or what has been happening. But let's take the call and then I would give my thoughts after. Hi, caller, morning.
What you said or what has been happening. But let's see.
Yes, hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Like just saying about the Calypsonian on CDC board. The last administration, you had a Calypsonian, the late Slider. He was a strong supporter of ULP. He was head of the welfare board. Anthony Denny, he was on Star FM. I think he was program manager at Star FM. I don't know if he's still. He's on Lotto. He's at CDC. He's on BC3. So, Labour Party supporters can't come and say nothing now. They can't come.
Okay. Didn't you hear me say that at the beginning of when I started speaking?
No, I didn't listen in the beginning.
Okay. Well, I did actually say it, not in your words, but similar to what you said. Yeah.
You have to put there, people have to put their people on the board. That's how government work. When Trump come to power, Trump put his people, the people who campaign for him and help him to get there. Obama did the same thing.
But life is not knocking that.
Camila Prasad.
Okay, you're talking.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're talking to persons on social media because that wasn't Life's commentary, right?
Yeah. The thing is, right, when he mentioned Anthony Denny, right? Anthony Denny, the thing is, right, with Anthony Denny, right? Anthony Denny works with the National Lotteries Authority, and the entities you call, which is CDC and VC3, are funded basically by the lottery. So that is probably how we ended up dealing with VC3 and then being on the CDC board as a member of LATRO, as a representative of LATRO. The Star Radio is basically, well, that's I would guess that his party, so that's kind of like personal and private relation to that. But what and then in relation to a competing Calypsonian being on CDC, what I was saying is that I don't know how that's gonna go down if he's still gonna be competing, in the Calypso competition, because I don't know how that will go down. That's basically what I was saying.
Well, if Nicole is in the line, she would know on the line. She would know that Winston Gypsy Peters captained the ship is sinking. I think he was Calypso King back down in the early 90s or so, or probably late 80s, something like that. He was the chairman of the NCC, National Carnival Commission, and he still competed in competition. He's the extempo. He wins the extempo, a lot of extempo crowns over the years. Nicole is there. Maybe she could. Nicole, is she there?
Yeah, she's there. She's there.
I'm here. Yes, I'm here, and you're correct. You're correct. It stands to reason, though, that there are many other dynamics that Life was referring to, particularly around the legal situations that are happening where cases are not yet, I don't think they're yet concluded, no? Is it that really?
Yeah, not concluded, yeah.
Gypsy also run for both political parties, the UNC and the Rowley administration that just got voted out last year. He running for both of them.
Okay.
I mean, Vincent Beecher had a problem with Vincent Beecher being on all these boards. This man retired, getting a national security advisor, which I think was a phantom position. I hear he was an AIA board. He was on Petro Carib board. He was on gun license board. All of this.
Okay.
The same whole thing.
All right. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll go later.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. In the former administration, it used to happen. But what the thing is, the list was never leaked, so we want to know, right? And as I'm saying, is the people who support the party are basically up in arms over the names. Not, as I said, let me repeat, not the ULP people. The ULP people are making small jabs, small jokes, or whatever. They're not debating it.
Fanning the flame. They are
right.
encouraging it. They are
basically poking it a little. Poking it a little.
Yeah.
Because the NDP supporters are doing what? Basically, if you want to say, they're doing the damage. You know what I mean? Because and I don't you see when people start to talk about young people should be placed here and young people should be placed here, I don't agree with that, you know. It's not everywhere young people should be placed, you know. Young people, maybe a young person should be placed in between the people that know what's going on, the people, so people could school them and teach them and train them. Because you can't just take a board and put 10, the board needs 10 members and you put 10 young people there. That can never work. That is a recipe for destruction. So when people talk about all and this and that, I don't believe in that. People need to be guided. People need to be trained. People need to be taught what is going on and how to run things.
On of knowledge as well.
Right? Because
okay, I see we have a call. Let's take the call and then we have to do the time check. So caller, good morning.
So I'll check when I come back.
Yeah. When you, call back as soon after we finish the time check.
I have to recommend you for a bowl. You striking me.
I striking you. Listen, anyway,
striking me.
We're gonna talk about that afterwards. All right, so let me do the time check now. Call back right after. All right. So life, we put in a pause here for a moment. All right. So listeners, time here in SVG, it is 8 o'clock, and all right, our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life, that doesn't make it any easier. When dealing with the loss of a loved one, you may try to be strong, but it's really hard sometimes. But that's just when the experience of the staff at New Haven Funeral Home can demonstrate their compassion and help to guide your family through the difficult time. So in your time of loss, call the New Haven Funeral Home at 457-1830 or 458-1467 or email newhavenfuneralhome@gmail.com. New Haven Funeral Home, SVG's preferred funeral home.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General, and they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases, so you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
Did you know? Have you used them? Vertis, Medushi, Lilies. These are among the best bathroom tissue products available any place. Excellent quality, larger sheet sizes, and more sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. Buy Vertis, Medushi, and Lilies. Made by St. Vincent Containers.
WEFM, the Clean Fresh Sound.
WhatsApp or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so time in SVG it is 8:03, and we are in our commentary with Life Compton this morning. All right, so we started off talking on the topic in relation to that board's list that was leaked over the weekend. All right, so we have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Morning.
Taking attendance.
Have a good week, everybody. Let me wish that first of all and foremost. So I want to wish my niece Kadiva happy birthday and my best friend Michael happy birthday as well. When you see people come with a paintbrush and want to basically use that brush with the same color paint and the same level of hypocrisy, and say this has been done and this has always been done and it's been done here, there, and everywhere. You know, you just have to just turn your cheek the other way, because that's total nonsense. Yes, we know nepotism and favoritism and all of the tisms exist, but what do we really stand for? And what was really the meaning of when that party win, everybody wins? It means the whole country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, wins. And whatever we do, the policies that they will enforce or implement would benefit for the better the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. After what they said was 25 years hardship. And understand to sound like life, but now. Anyway, we hear these look at these consultation life, and I'm not sure if you're gonna focus on them.
Yeah. I plan to mention one specifically. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, these people are so blatant, and I find that these politicians should be calling them out for making these pronouncements. Yes, it's their opinion, but when you on the national platform, because they are on the platforms basically, you call them out when they're making these pronouncements about people should be fired and removing people from these positions and that. What kind of country are we building if we are, that's what we want to see for our people, our professionals, or And I know that as a small country, St. Vincent and Grenadines, we can compete with other countries like Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, other countries when it comes to professionals, when it comes to creatives, when it comes to, the amount of degrees and the amount of training that our Vincentian people have. We can stand up next to anybody anywhere in the world. We have professionals working overseas, not aligned to politics. So what do we do with the people who live here and who decide to stay here or come back from university and make their contribution? Those people who probably during that political process elections waved a red flag or stayed neutral, because even when a neutral sometimes you get a tail blaze, right? Because you ain't pick a side. And I find it rather unfortunate that is the kind of narrative that we're pushing every day or every time I look at these concepts. I like some of the ideas though, but they're not realistic, because they're like we say, for example, life. We want a playing field there, we want a hard court there, but we have dozens of them that are underutilized. They're just there, they're just lying away. You understand? They're not being used by the community because they're not community-based organizations that are going to do the work, that are going to push the community work, that's going to get some young people involved in cricket or netball or these type of things, or environmental groups, clean up gardens, the villages, etc. We don't have that kind of mentality or thing anymore. So they're just making pushing these ideas because they're hoping the politicians will put them as part of government policy. That could never be. I'm not even going to address the board situation because I know there's more to come. But like you made I don't say it's an error, but you mentioned something about the previous boards or list that were being leaked, right? It has always been public. You could have gone to the printry or the post office and pay 50 cents, or I think it's 150 now, and get one gazetted, because you have to gazette them, right? Because one's cabinet, and so approve these boards, which change every year. You get to see the names, and they're not top secret. And we know that the former government had passed an information act where you can go to any government department or write to them, email them, etc., and request certain information. It's because the red tape of government, it takes long, but the information is there. So I just hope that all of these boards that are charged with the responsibility to guide these institutions like VINLEC and NIS and to provide their professional knowledge, that they put the right people. I don't care whether there's NDP, no P at all, just put the right people who have the expertise that can help our institutions, help our statutory corporations be better. You understand? I don't care whose name appear. I don't care who they will belong to. I just want the best for St. Vincent and Grenadines. And that is my wish for these boards. But I could understand the confusion. Even one of the man who was placed on the board from another station across. So like he's disappointed. Here the board, he's saying they're full of crap. So it has to be a joke. We have to treat the business of our country, the government, our society, and whether it be public or private sector, with a level of seriousness, and stop making these dark, overshadowed political decisions or emotions or whatever. That is my 2 cents, and I'll have some change.
All right, thank you, John. All right.
People and people, a lot of people don't have the information in relation to certain things, right? For instance, they talk about all these people getting this money. The people that make the money from the boards are basically the head of the boards, right? Because the salary, the monthly, I don't think they call it a salary or whatever. I think they have another name for it or whatever. Stipend. The monthly stipends range from $3,000 to $6,000 with entities like BOSVG, Vinlec, and the National Lotteries carrying the more hefty stipends for the leader of the board, the head of the board, or whatever. So it's ranging from, I think Vinlec and I think NS also pay as well too. I think Vinlec and Lottery is something like $5,000 and $6,000. I think Lottery is the most, but it's between 3,000 and 6,000 for the heads. I'm not sure for the deputy heads, but the board members is like the payment ranges from $300 up to $1,500 in between there. Could be 1,000 up to 1,500. Again, I think Lottery.
I think it's 250.
Lottery, it goes to 250. Well,
no. I mean the minimum. I think the minimum is at 250. $250.
Okay, it goes up to about probably like 50. So a lot of people saying that the people that are heading up the boards don't really need this money. They should put people who need the money, but people who need the money probably don't have the expertise. You know what I mean? So some of them are really in good hands, I think. For instance, I think the NIS in good hands. I think Vinlec in good hands, basically. I see they have Luke Boye, CD, which is the Center for Enterprise Development. He's a you can say he's a really good entrepreneur. He has run companies like Mitsubishi Motors, Massey, KFC, which we all see. From realistically speaking, we see when he left that these companies actually went down. When he left, right? He has built his radio station where he has some of the biggest events in relation to promotions in St. Vincent, and promotion is something that is very, very hard to make money from, right? So
wait, sorry, Joshua. I didn't realize that Joshua was on. They call it connected. All right, Joshua.
That's okay. Oh. You could treat me like a stepchild. I got no problem with that.
No. I sorry.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
This is for the forensic cyber surgeon. I would like you to burst Roleza's bubble. Roleza said it's not easy to fire a civil servant. It's very easy. And let me explain before you shoot me down, Roleza. Now, the civil servants basically accountable to the Governor General. The government of the day appoints the Governor General. If the government of the day decides Roleza is doing a very bad job as a civil servant, I want her out. Roleza is out before you could say Deca Tracker. So Roleza is very easy. One MP, I think, said the buck stops with us. When the sun sets, the buck stops with the government of the day. So civil servants, do not be sitting on your laurels, because laurels got thorns. When you sit on thorns, you're going to get stuck in the way. So you could be fired tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but it's not a Governor General who will decide. There are commissions.
Yeah, it's not so clear cut. It's not so clear cut.
So commission. So it's not that easy.
This is why I addressed the forensic surgeon. I want him to do some research. The Governor General is the ultimate, believe it or not, power in St. Vincent. But that power was appointed by the government of the day. It sounds confusing. It's like in my home, right? Folks ask, who's the boss? I am the appliance. Mrs. Richardson is listening to me. She would kill me. I am the appliance, and Mrs. Richardson is the power source. You know that, like the socket where you plug anything. So the source could be there, nothing happens. Unless you plug the refrigerator in, it's not going to work. So this is how we work. I am the appliance. I could boast on that. I'm the appliance. She is the power source. I hope you get me. I am on the road. I'll be listening to you guys anyway.
All right. Thanks.
And by the way, you can't get none of my cake because you're not here.
All right. Happy belated birthday. Sorry. Happy belated birthday, Joshua. Yes.
It's great being 73. You know, I love being 73.
Good. You're so past the 3 scores and 10. Good, Joshua.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We have another call on the line. Yeah. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to talk about two things. Now, Joshua just spoke about getting fired. Now, as people normally say, it's not easy because it is a process.
and they have protection for the employee. Now, and that is what the PSC is there for. Now, before you could fire somebody, you have to give them warning. And that warning must be documented. So in the event that anything happened, and they go to the labor department will check the file and see that you give them verbal warning, you give them written warning twice, you suspend them, and then if it gets overbearing now, you could dismiss them. Or there are certain circumstances that you could dismiss without, like if it's theft and those other things. Maybe you indecent proposal to workers and them kind of things. These kind of things, you understand? You could fire somebody right away. But in terms of just picking up somebody performing the job and picking up and fire them, you're in trouble because the law is there to protect them. And then you would have to compensate them. But there are certain things that you would do that if you get dismissed, you get in the severance. You understand? Once it is a process, and the public service union would come out and fight with the workers, so you can't just go and say, boy, tomorrow let me go and fire Frankie. If I do my job, you can't fire me so that easy. You will have to compensate me adequately. You could make me redundant, but when you make me redundant, you cannot employ somebody back in that same position. You have to create a new position with a new title. You understand? Because some employers use that as a strategy to get rid of you, make you redundant. You understand? You're giving trouble. We no longer want you. Your services no longer wanted. In terms of the board, now, as you say, some members get like 250, 300, 500. I mean, I was a board member for the planning department, which I think I qualify for, and I was the deputy chairman, and my fee was $500. You understand? So some of them may really get in the big set of money. You know, as a deputy, you expect to get more. But as you say, when you're selecting people, we've already got a decision to make certain decisions. Because there are certain things that the department might not be able to come to a decision, and they come to the board to determine whether or not you should like approve a plan and them sort of things. And you need people with the expertise. You don't just put somebody because the chairman has a lot to say. You understand? He chaired the meeting, he had the most say. And you need people with experience in those positions. You understand? To be able to make certain decisions or guide certain decisions. You understand? So just taking a man because he supports a party to put him on a board. Sometimes it don't work because it causes more problem because you have a lot of yes man. They just sit down in the board meeting and don't say nothing at all. You understand? So you need people with expertise in those disciplines to kind of assist the institution when making certain decisions. You know? Like said that some people get 5 or 6,000. I think that might be based on the profitability of the organization and because some organizations don't have no money at all. You understand? So they can't really pay the board members not a big set of money. You know? So I just say let me call in and think because I was on board before and I know how they operate.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Life,
yeah.
What is it that the NDP supporters are quarreling about? Is it that the persons who on the board or the amount of time some persons on boards?
They quarreling for a number of things. They quarreling because a lot of people seem to have the idea that these board members make a lot of money. So they quarreling about that. They're saying some of the people that there don't need money. And then somebody actually listed the network of some of the people there of being up in the millions or whatever. Then they're quarreling about people being on multiple boards. And they're quarreling about the nepotism part, basically where wives, girlfriends, brothers, sisters, husbands, or whatever are on
How you feel about that though? How do you, if you care to share, how do you personally feel about that?
Okay, this is If they qualify, let it be on it. If they're not, then it's a big problem.
Okay.
And I would assume that some of them are not.
I actually am not in agreement.
As the farmer caller said, like some people just sit in a meeting and don't know what's going on. They just. I've seen some placements as like, what is this person's skill? Why is this person here? You know what I mean? Some of them they can argue, well, okay, yeah, cool. You know, you can't really argue with people like Steve Joachim heading up a board. You can't really argue with people like Jimmy Ford heading up a board. People like Luke Boy heading up a board. You can't really argue with some of the people that are heading up the boards, but the members now, then you could have say like, okay, why is this person there? What would this person bring? Couldn't this person be placed somewhere different? Why is this person on this one and still on this one? You know, they're not that good at what they do. You know what I mean? So you could argue that, and man, we can't get away from the nepotism. We can't get away from somebody wanting to look out for the family, their friend, their girlfriend, their brother. You just can't get away from it.
Yeah, I think to me, if they bring a certain level of expertise, I know in terms of the family relations, right? It's going to be a little bit tricky to get away from that in Vinci because we're so small, right? And everybody just related by, maybe by a distant cousin or whatever, right? But in terms of the direct spouses, I'm not in agreement with that unless the person brings some sort of level of expertise that, is definitely needed. Just to add a couple of things with regards to this, though, I really do think that the NDP is in for a serious battle on their hands, right? Even before the elections, the results of the elections, we saw leakage of documents. And now this list, because I messaged somebody who I know who was on the list just to be able to confirm, number one, that the list was possibly true and whether or not the list was actually confirmed. And the person told me that they have not even responded to the letter that they got to say whether or not they are confirming the position. So there are some persons who may have not even gotten letters. It might have been a proposed list, but at that time, or at the time of it being leaked, it's not a confirmed list, right? So that is also another part that we need to take into account, whether or not this is a finalized list, right? Maybe it doesn't necessarily change things here or there, but my bigger concern at this point in time is all this leakage of documents. And to be honest, I cannot say whether it's a ULP supporter who leaked it to cause all of this or to start all of this controversy. It may very well also be an NDP supporter who leaked it because, as you started off with your commentary this morning, there are many of them who think that they're entitled to certain things or they're going to question certain things, right? I know that you started off where you made a point about the nepotism, and yes, these things have been happening, yes, on the ULP, etc. But do we want a continuation of certain things that have happened in the past, right? Or do we want to see changes? Now, if we want to see the changes, then the changes have to start somewhere. They're going to have to start with whichever administration. But again, when the NDP was in opposition, they spoke about things like the integrity legislation. Are these the sort of things that we are going to see happening under their administration? So it's almost like, yes, the party has changed, but what changes are we going to see? And again, when it comes to the supporters, all right, let me leave it there.
There's a saying that stands true. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Nothing ain't going to change. Yeah, it's just, I will tell you, the list say here or there for me, you know what I mean? It's not anything for me, but people have a big problem with it. But for me, that wouldn't even been a topic if the list wasn't leaked. I have never seen a list leaked from the former administration. Then maybe somebody should leak that list and then we could see the same outcry. To me, it's just because the list was, I wouldn't even say leaked because as I said, it's public document. It was placed there or whatever. But what you have to realize is that some people, listen, we had to be fair, right? We had to be fair because some people are calling on to be fired have not been fired and will not be fired. And we see a lot of people who hold positions that people were saying, boy, when the government changed, they're gone. And they're still there and they're not going anywhere. Some are gone, which had to be obvious. Obviously, they had to go. But there's still the majority of the people still holding the positions. There's still There's still Ricky Adams as chairman of CDC. There's still Rodney Small. These people are gone anywhere. And these are people who people calling continuously to be fired. Every day there's an idiot on social media calling for me and Marlon Bob to be fired. Every day. People keep sending the clips to me. You know what I mean? And we have to admit that some people we think will be gone, they're still there. So when you see board, oh, this board list and this board list, the last board list from the last administration and see if there's anything different on it. There's nothing different. But as I said, the problem it comes with me basically is that they have 4 people on there that are questionable in relation to interaction with the law or whatever. People innocent until proven guilty. I'm a big supporter of that. I'm one of the persons who say that people innocent before proven guilty and they should have bail for more. I'm one of the persons who support that. So, but then I think there's somebody who's actually convicted on there of crimes that are not. Anyways, that's for a different day. I will have to look that up to talk. I'll have to go and research the crimes or whatever, so I could speak more full on that, right? But yeah, that's my issue. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about that. I don't think it's a big deal. What is funny is how the NDP supporters are getting on. They're acting real bad. They're real upset about it. I don't know if, as I said, some of them expected to be on some of the list or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. They mentioned one lady who did a live that went viral. She mentioned a young lady who's on two boards, and I was saying, well, yeah, maybe she could be on one, but I didn't really see her need to be on the other one, right? But yeah, it is what it is, and like that's just another 9-day start or whatever.
Documents.
They soon get over it. And in relation to the caller who talked about Joshua said public servants should be fired. It's not that easy because there's something called security of tenure, and it's what people are calling on public servants to be fired for. It's not even the list of things that they can be fired for. You know what I mean? People are calling for public servants to be fired because they support the Unity Labour Party. That's not on the list. The things that are on the list are just are serious misbehaviors. You know what I mean? Gongs I looked it up, you know, it's like misconduct, indiscipline, inability to perform duties, absent without leave. And, you know, it has to go through an investigation and notice, then you had the opportunity to be heard, and then you had the decision. And these things can take years and years and years. I've seen public servants steal tremendous sums of money from government and they get never been charged. They get transferred instead of fired and thing. You know what I mean? It's really, really, really hard. It's not just something so simple. You could just go and fire somebody just so because they had different opinion with you. And in one of the public consultations, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he was very strong in the point he was making, and that is something you have to be very careful of because he sounded angry. To me, I could be wrong. He sounded angry when he was speaking about it, and you have to be very careful when you say these things. You know what I mean? What he's saying wasn't nonsensical. It made sense, but it was said. It was said very aggressively, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe it's the same.
I want to ask you something because this is Gerald Thompson, Dr. Thompson.
Good morning, Dr. Thompson.
You said that persons have been calling for your resignation. Now, in terms of your commentary, your pronouncements, your writings, and so forth, should or would those particular calls cause you to temper or in some way adjust your commentary? Has it, and should it? And I started not so much should it, but has it in any way?
No.
He's still here.
No.
Still here.
And nobody tell me about it either.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Nobody tell me about it, and no.
In terms of the calls, have the calls come because of your commentary? As a matter of fact, you know, your commentary was cited in Parliament. You know, cited in Parliament in a positive way. But I'm curious. Somebody would say they found that you may have either gained an edge or lost a little bit of edge in terms of the sharpness of your thing. How would you see it, and how would you want it to be perceived?
It actually, what you said there, the last thing you said actually came to mind, right? But nobody have the strange thing, right, is that the supporters of the New Democratic Party is who cost me for what I say. Because as what I said, I observed the NDP supporters is who cost me for that. Nobody from people will meet me, supporters of the Youth Labour Party will meet me and say, you're gone over the other side, you know, and joke about it. You're gone over the other side, you betray this, you betray that, and joke about it, not in any serious way. But the supporters of the NDP is who on my case for say what I say. And why I didn't say that before and all kind of thing. But I can't say something before than if I never see it before. So maybe they say, boy, if we touch that, if this gonna happen or that gonna happen or whatever. I don't know. To me, it doesn't really matter. I find myself saying this plenty. It doesn't really matter. You know, there was a Jamaican artist who did an interview and what is the thing called? It's a popular thing that the artists go on, a Jamaican thing.
On stage?
On stage. And short the interview, he was saying, I don't care. So that's my stand on that. It is what it is. It is what it is. Why shouldn't I be able to say how I feel about something? Conflict of interest? Maybe. But yeah.
And I suppose that's
my take on it.
That's one of my thoughts on it, in that because we've always had administrations with long stretches, right? In long stretches of tenure. I think because of this transition period, everything kind of seems new to, well, maybe like people like me and New Life, not so much Doc, because Doc is older, right? And MAKA. Because, you know, let's say if we were changing government every 5 to 10 years, then there might not necessarily be this set of outrage that comes nearly every Monday morning with some sort of decision or some sort of thing that is happening, right? If we were used to those changes in government, a party forming government, then, you know, it's not going to seem so brand and so fresh and so new. When the administration changed 24, 25 years ago, there wasn't social media, right? So whatever changes were happening at that point in time, we as the public would not have been aware of it. There would not have been that outcry. There was not that outrage. But because social media is available, because there are more radio stations or more platforms for persons to express their thoughts, express their opinions, express their outrage, this is why we're seeing it's happening now. But back then, I'm sure there was the same sort of talk happening, but maybe just a little bit undertoned in a sense where it wasn't given the platform that we currently have. So we just not used to these things.
I think we need to clamp down on some of these leaks.
But it's
no, you can't clamp down on that. You can't clamp down on that. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do to clamp down on that.
Always have documents passing through their hands.
Yeah, you can't stop that. And as I said, it's not a leak. It's not a leak. It's a private. It's a public document. It's not a leak. Just means somebody.
Well, as far as I was told, it's not confirmed as
but
yet.
But there was Dr. Shallow read a leak document on radio station.
Well, Dr. Shallow started with the leak documents during the last election. He started with that. So if it continued, well, you can't really do nothing about that. That was started by that. You know what I mean? But when the former administration changed, when in 21, when the Unity Labour Party came to power, there were people that were relieved of positions, and there were plenty of people that were kept the same way. But as you said, we didn't really have the big social media push or whatever back then. So we could know, but there were a lot of people that were kept in the positions. A lot of people that were kept in the positions. I ended up playing key roles in the Unity Labour Party administration and still not supporting the Unity Labour Party. And you saw this, right? I sure a lot of people were shocked on the election night when they saw certain people coming out on the streets in the NDP jersey and certain posts they were making on social media, people were shocked. Oh wow, they don't support the Unity Labour Party. They supported the NDP under the ULP, but they did the job on a professional level. They do nothing to jeopardize themselves or jeopardize their job or what the government was doing. A lot of people were kept on knowing they were knowingly supporters of the NDP and they were kept on.
No way. There's one other factor. Over the last 2-3 years, there was legislation that one allowed a public servant to run in terms of contesting a seat without having to resign from that particular seat, or the reassurance that they would be able to get back their position. That was a big change, but it also filtered down in relation to other public servants in terms of being able to appear on a platform and so forth. Whereas long ago in the past, if you appeared on a platform, it might have been something that caused for you to be affected in some way. So I think that overtone is something that comes over the whole thing as a policy. Whether that policy should be changed or will go away, I think it was considered as a progressive movement, and a number of people benefited from it.
Yeah, I think people could support what they want to support. Just do your work. Just do your work.
Yeah, just do the work. Just do the work.
If you just do your work.
That's probably what the Minister of Foreign Affairs was trying to say. But as I said, it came across kind of aggressively now. You know what I mean? Because it's obvious, like if you're working for me and you're trying to sabotage me, I ain't want you there. It's obvious that we don't be crazy. Let me don't be crazy about this. It's obvious if you're sabotaging me, I don't want you around me. You know what I mean? So it's not how you say things, it's the way you say it, basically. That's the problem.
All right. So like we got to wrap up. You're good there? Everything out?
Yeah. As I say, the board thing is neither here nor there with me. The supporters of the New Democratic Party dealing with that. They're dealing with it how they see fit. It's not here nor there with me. As I said, my issues with the legal issues are so many people, and it could be like, to me, that should have been looked at. And public servants could free to express themselves or whatever. Once they're not disrespectful or whatever, they do their thing. You can't fire somebody just so. It's a long process you have to go through. You have to have reasons or whatever. You can't go to a board and say, well, me want to fire him because he support UNP, or me want to fire him because he support NDP. Because as we said earlier, there were people who stole and just get transferred, and stole again and get transferred, and stole again and get transferred. That's not even a joke. I know a female who did that. Stole every ministry she walked in and got transferred. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you can't get fired for stealing, why you should get fired because you hold a certain political position, however. So yeah, that's my take on that. Basically. All
right. And as we're talking about boards, a friend message. In case anyone is wondering, the National Development Foundation, which is a local NGO which provides financing to small businesses, farmers, etc., they are looking for fresh blood to serve on their board. You don't get paid to serve, but you get a $50 annual membership fee. All right. $50? So you hear the same thing. Yeah, we talk about. We want people on the board for national development after the money.
I'm just asking.
Okay. All right. So if anybody's interested, the National Development Foundation, a local NGO, they are looking for fresh blood to serve on their board. And with that, we could head on out. We are headed on out. All right. So, Life, thank you for your commentary this morning. I'll be back again tomorrow morning.
Thanks.
All right. All righty. So, timer in SVG, it is 8:39, and we are heading on out of this segment, and we'll be back around 8:45 with Doc's commentary for this morning.
99.9 WEFM.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road.